Rachel Bennett sat at her corner desk in the bustling office of Tech Trend Innovations, a small tech company in the heart of Seattle. Her fingers moved swiftly over the keyboard, her eyes locked on the screen as lines of data filled her vision. The glow of her monitor cast a soft light on her face, revealing a quiet strain beneath her focus. Around her, co-workers chatted about the upcoming project deadline, their voices a constant hum against the clatter of keyboard. Rachel adjusted her scarf, covering a faint scar on her neck, and glanced at a photo of her mother pinned to her cubicle wall. Her thoughts drifted inward. My name is Rachel Bennett. I've always believed hard work could rewrite any story, even mine, but some days this place makes me wonder if I'll ever escape my past. The morning sun streamed through the office's glass walls, reflecting Seattle's skyline and the distant Space Needle. Employees hurried to their desks, clutching coffee cups and laptops. Kelly Morgan, a warm and cheerful coworker, paused by Rachel's desk, balancing 2 coffees. She slid one toward Rachel with a grin. I swear, Rachel, you're the only one keeping this place together. Don't let the chaos get to you. Rachel managed a shy smile, her fingers pausing on the keyboard. Thanks, Kelly. Just trying to stay afloat. Kelly nodded and moved on, her ponytail bouncing. Rachel sipped the coffee, its warmth grounding her for a moment. The brief calm shattered when a sharp voice cut through the office noise. Jessica Reynolds, a poised manager in her 30s, strode in, her heels clicking with authority. Her tailored blazer and cold stare commanded attention. She scanned the room, her eyes landing on Rachel like a predator spotting prey. Everyone, meeting room, now, Jessica announced loudly. We need to address a serious issue before this project goes any further. Rachel's stomach tightened. She gathered her notes, sensing trouble, and followed her coworkers to the meeting room, a sleek space with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking downtown Seattle. Whispers filled the air as employees settled into chairs. Jessica stood at the front, holding a stack of papers, her expression icy. Rachel took a seat near the back, her hands clasped tightly. Jessica raised a hand for silence. We're here because someone's negligence threatens our biggest contract yet, Jessica said, her voice cutting. Rachel Bennett, stand up. Rachel froze, her heart pounding. She rose slowly, her face paling under the weight of every gaze. Jessica tossed the papers onto the table, revealing a report with a glaring typo circled in red. This is your work, isn't it? Jessica said, her tone dripping with scorn. A mistake like this could cost us millions. You think you belong here, but you're dragging us down. Rachel's voice trembled but held firm. I checked that report twice. It wasn't like that when I submitted it. Jessica smirked, folding her arms. Excuses won't cut it. If you can't handle your job, maybe you're better suited for something else. She deliberately knocked her coffee cup off the table, the dark liquid splashing across the polished floor. The room went silent, the air thick with tension. Jessica pointed to the mess, her eyes gleaming with malice. Clean it up, Rachel. On your knees, show us you can at least do that right. Gasps rippled through the room. Rachel's hands shook, her mind racing. She thought of her mother, Linda, lying in a hospital bed, dependent on the paycheck Rachel earned. Swallowing her pride, she knelt, grabbing napkins from the table, and began wiping the floor. Her cheeks burned with shame as coworkers shifted uncomfortably, some snickering, others looking away. Kelly clenched her fists, her face tight with anger, but stayed silent, knowing Jessica's influence. Jessica watched Rachel scrub, a satisfied smile curling her lips. That's where you belong, Rachel, Jessica said. Don't forget it. Rachel's hands moved mechanically, but her mind flashed to a memory. Linda's frail hand squeezing hers in the hospital, tubes snaking from her arms. Rachel's inner voice steadied her. Every day I fight for her, for us. No matter what they throw at me, I won't break. The meeting ended and employees filed out, avoiding Rachel's gaze. She stood, brushing her hands on her skirt, her jaw tight. Jessica lingered, tossing a final barb. Don't think this is over, Jessica said, then strode away. Kelly approached Rachel, her voice low. That was cruel. You didn't deserve it. Are you okay? Rachel forced a nod, her voice quiet. I'll be fine, Kelly. Thanks for checking. Kelly hesitated, then left. Alone in the meeting room, Rachel sank into a chair, her hands still trembling. She pulled out her phone and saw a missed call from an unknown number. A voicemail played, and Daniel Lawson's deep voice filled the silence. "Rachel, it's me. I heard about the meeting. Don't let her win. You're stronger than this. Call me when you're free." Rachel's eyes softened, a flicker of hope breaking through her pain. She deleted the voicemail quickly, glancing around to ensure no one saw. Her thoughts turned inward. He's my secret, my strength. But if anyone knew, everything I've built could crumble. Across the office, Jessica sat at her desk scrolling through her phone. A news article about Lawson Tech Group, Tech Trend's parent company, featured a photo of Daniel Lawson, handsome and authoritative. Jessica's eyes narrowed, her fingers tightening around the phone. "Daniel's mine," she muttered. "No one, especially not her, will take him from me." She opened the company's internal chat and typed a message, accusing Rachel of incompetence and hinting at a shady past. The message pinged across employees' screens, sparking whispers. Rachel, back at her desk, overheard two coworkers nearby. "Did you see Jessica's post?" one said. "Rachel's hiding something. No wonder she's so quiet," the other replied. "Probably trouble." Rachel kept her eyes on her screen, pretending not to hear. She opened a project file labeled Klein Contract, her fingers steadying. Her inner voice pushed forward. "They think they know me, but they don't. This project is my chance to prove them wrong." That night, Rachel stayed late, the office empty except for the hum of servers. Under her desk lamp's glow, she pored over documents, cross-checking numbers. A notification popped up, an email from Jessica with revised data for the Klein meeting. Rachel scanned it, her brow furrowing. The figures didn't match her notes. She compared them, realization dawning. "She's setting me up," Rachel whispered. She reworked the data, her fingers flying across the keyboard. The clock ticked past midnight, Seattle's lights twinkling outside. Her determination grew. "Jessica wants me to fail, but I've fought harder battles than this. I won't let her win." The next morning, Rachel arrived at the office, circles under her eyes, but a spark of defiance in her gaze. She headed to the meeting room, where Richard Klein, a stern executive with gray hair, waited with Jessica and other managers. Jessica introduced Rachel with a fake smile. "Rachel's handling the presentation," Jessica said. "Let's hope she doesn't disappoint us." Rachel stepped forward, her voice steady. She delivered a flawless pitch, correcting the tampered data seamlessly. Klein nodded, impressed. "Solid work, Ms. Bennett. I look forward to the full proposal." Jessica's smile faltered, her eyes narrowing. As Klein left, she pulled Rachel aside, her voice low. "Don't get cocky," Jessica said. "You're still nothing here." Rachel met her gaze. "I'm just doing my job, Jessica. Maybe you should try it." Jessica stormed off, fury evident. Rachel exhaled, steadying herself. Kelly, watching from a distance, gave her a thumbs up. Rachel's phone buzzed with a message from Daniel. "Proud of you. Meet me tonight?" She hesitated, then typed, "Okay." Later, Rachel walked through Pike Place Market at dusk, the crowd bustling with vendors and tourists. She spotted Daniel near a flower stall, his tailored coat standing out. He turned, their eyes meeting, a quiet understanding passing between them. Rachel's thoughts closed the scene. He sees me, all of me, and still chooses me. But how long can we hide the truth? They clasped hands, the market's lights blurring into a warm glow, a fragile moment before the storm ahead. Rachel Bennett sat at her desk in the Tech Trend Innovations office, the Seattle skyline fading into twilight beyond the glass walls. Her screen glowed with the Klein project files, each number and chart a step toward proving her worth. Jessica Reynolds' latest assignment weighed heavily, a lead role designed to make her fail. Rachel's fingers paused on the keyboard, her thoughts drifting to the handkerchief Daniel Lawson had given her, tucked in her pocket like a talisman. She traced its stitches, her resolve firm. "Jessica thinks she's cornered me, but I've faced worse than her traps. I'll keep fighting. For Mom, for Daniel." The office was quiet, most co-workers gone for the day. Kelly Morgan lingered, dropping a bottle of water on Rachel's desk. "You're burning out," Kelly said. "Don't let Jessica's games run you into the ground." Rachel smiled faintly. "I can handle it, Kelly. Thanks for worrying." Kelly hesitated, then nodded. "Just watch your back. She's got it out for you." Rachel's phone buzzed. A message from Daniel. "Meet me tomorrow. I miss you." She typed a quick reply, "Tomorrow works," and refocused on her work. Across town, Jessica sat in her upscale apartment, scrolling through a private email thread. A contact labeled Tech Fix had sent a cryptic message. "System access confirmed. Ready to proceed." Jessica smirked, typing back, "Do it tonight. Make it look like her fault." The next morning, chaos erupted at Tech Trend. Rachel arrived to find employees huddled around screens, their voices frantic. Kelly grabbed her arm, her face pale. "Someone hacked the system," she said. "Customer data's leaking, and it's bad. Millions bad." Rachel's heart sank. She rushed to her desk, logging in, but an email blast from Jessica popped up, sent to the entire company. "Rachel Bennett's negligence caused this breach," it read. "Her incompetence threatens us all. Immediate action will be taken." Murmurs spread, co-workers shooting Rachel accusing glances. She scanned the email, her pulse racing. This wasn't an accident, she thought. Jessica's behind it. Jessica strode into the open office, her voice loud. "Rachel, explain yourself. How did you let this happen?" Rachel stood, her voice steady despite the stares. "I didn't cause this. I've been working on Klein's project, not the main system." Jessica scoffed. "Convenient excuse. You're done here. Expect a lawsuit by tomorrow." Rachel's hands clenched, memories of the coffee-stained floor flashing back. She wouldn't let Jessica humiliate her again. "Let me check the logs," she said. "I can find out what happened." Jessica laughed, but her eyes flickered with unease. "Go ahead, waste everyone's time." Rachel sat, diving into the system logs with a focus honed from years of self-taught coding in prison. She spotted an anomaly, a phishing email sent to an admin account, disguised as a routine update. Her fingers flew, tracing the breach. Kelly leaned over, whispering, "You got something?" "Maybe," Rachel said. "This wasn't random. Someone planned it." Hours passed, the office tense. Rachel collaborated with the IT team, a small group of techs grateful for her insight. She found a digital footprint, an email exchange buried in a deleted folder. Her breath caught as she opened it. Instructions from Jessica to a hacker, promising payment to frame Rachel. Rachel copied the evidence, her heart pounding. "We've got 12 hours before the data's gone for good," Rachel told the IT lead Sam. "If we patch the hole now, we can save it." Sam nodded, impressed. "Lead the way, Rachel." They worked through the night, Rachel guiding the team to seal the breach and restore the data. By dawn, the system stabilized, customer records intact. Rachel's eyes burned with exhaustion, but she felt a spark of triumph. She emailed the evidence to Daniel and the board, her hands steady. The next day, a meeting was called in the main conference room. Jessica stood confidently, expecting Rachel's downfall. Employees filled the seats, whispering about the breach. Rachel entered, clutching a USB drive with the evidence. Jessica began, her voice smug. "Rachel's actions cost us nearly $500 million, Jessica said. "She's a liability we can't afford." Rachel stepped forward, her voice clear. "That's not true. I didn't cause the breach, you did." Gasps filled the room. Jessica laughed, but it sounded forced. "That's absurd. You're desperate." Rachel plugged the USB into the projector, displaying the email exchange. Jessica's face paled as her words appeared. "Make it look like Rachel's fault." The room erupted in murmurs. Rachel spoke, unflinching. "I worked with IT to fix your mess, Jessica," she said. "You hired a hacker to ruin me, but it's over." Jessica stammered. "You can't prove that's real. You're a nobody here." A deep voice cut through the noise. "That's enough." Daniel Lawson entered, his presence commanding. He looked at Rachel, pride in his eyes, then turned to the room. "Rachel's not a nobody. She's my wife." Shock rippled through the crowd. Jessica's jaw dropped, her composure crumbling. Daniel continued, Rachel saved this company. Jessica, you're fired, effective, immediately. Jessica's eyes blazed. You'll regret this, Daniel. She's nothing but a criminal. Daniel's gaze hardened. Leave, Jessica. Now. Security escorted Jessica out, her protests echoing. Employees whispered, stunned by the revelation. Kelly squeezed Rachel's shoulder, beaming. You did it, she said. Rachel nodded, but her thoughts were heavy. Daniel stood by me, but Jessica's not done. She'll hit harder next time. That afternoon, Rachel met Daniel at his office in Lawson Tech Group's gleaming tower. He pulled her into a hug, his voice soft. I'm sorry you went through that. I should have stopped her sooner. Rachel shook her head. You couldn't know, but Daniel, we can't keep hiding. Not after this. Daniel cupped her face. Then we won't. I want the world to know you're mine. Rachel's heart swelled, but fear lingered. Before she could reply, a call interrupted them. It was George Lawson, Daniel's grandfather, his voice stern through the speaker. Daniel, we need to talk, George said. About her. A woman with a criminal record can't be part of this family. Rachel's chest tightened, the word criminal cutting deep. Daniel's jaw clenched. She's my wife, Grandpa. That's not up for debate. George's tone hardened. You're risking everything. I'll cut off her mother's treatment if you don't reconsider. Daniel's eyes flashed. Try it. I've already bought the hospital. Linda's care is secure. He hung up, turning to Rachel. I meant it, he said. No one comes between us. Rachel's eyes filled with tears, gratitude mixing with worry. Thank you, she whispered. But your family, they'll never accept me. Daniel took her hand. They will. Give it time. That evening, Rachel visited George at his sprawling estate outside Seattle. The mansion's grandeur made her feel small, but she stood tall. George sat in his study, his face lined with years of authority. He gestured for her to sit, his voice gruff. Why should I trust you? He said. Daniel says you're worth it, but I know about your past. Prison, arson. Rachel met his gaze, her voice steady. I was 16, protecting my mom from a monster. I took the blame to save her. I served my time, learned from it. I'm not that girl anymore. George studied her, his expression unreadable. You've got nerve, I'll give you that. But this family has a legacy. Rachel leaned forward. I love Daniel. I'd never hurt him or your legacy. Judge me for who I am now, not then. George said nothing, but his eyes softened slightly. Rachel left, unsure if she'd reached him, her thoughts swirling. He listened, but will it change anything? I just want a chance to prove myself. Days later, Rachel returned to Tech Trend, the office abuzz with gossip about her and Daniel. She focused on her work, ignoring the stares, but a call from the hospital shattered her calm. A nurse's voice was frantic. Ms. Bennett, your mother's gone. Someone transferred her last night, claiming it was urgent. Rachel's blood ran cold. She dialed Daniel, her voice shaking. It's Mom, she's missing. Daniel arrived at the hospital within minutes, his face grim. He called his security team, tracing the transfer order. Rachel checked her phone, finding an anonymous text. Divorce Daniel in 1 hour or your mother stays gone. A second message followed. Check the old clinic on Pine Road. Rachel showed Daniel, her hands trembling. It's Jessica, she said. She's behind this. Daniel nodded, his voice steady. We'll find her. I've got the police on it. Rachel's mind raced, the memory of Jessica's taunts echoing. She made me clean her mess once. Now she's using Mom to break me. They drove to Pine Road, a run-down industrial area outside Seattle. The clinic was a boarded-up shell, its windows dark. Police cars arrived, lights flashing. Rachel and Daniel entered with 2 officers, finding Linda in a makeshift room hooked to an IV. A man in scrubs, hired by Jessica, froze as the police cuffed him. Linda stirred, weak but alive. Rachel rushed to her, tears falling. Mom, you're safe. Linda's hand squeezed hers, faint but real. Rachel, you found me. Daniel questioned the man, who confessed Jessica paid him to stage the transfer. threatening Linda's care to force Rachel's hand. The police traced Jessica to a nearby hotel, arresting her for conspiracy and endangerment. Rachel overheard an officer mention Jessica's family, the Reynolds, losing their influence in Seattle's business circles. As paramedics moved Linda back to the hospital, Daniel pulled Rachel close. "She's done," he said. "Jessica can't hurt you anymore." Rachel nodded, but her thoughts were heavy. "She's gone, but the damage lingers. My past is out there now." That night, Rachel sat by Linda's bedside, watching her mother sleep. Daniel joined her, his hand resting on her shoulder. "We got through this," he said. "Together." Rachel looked at him, her voice soft. "You stood by me, Daniel, even when everyone else saw a criminal." Daniel smiled, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "I see you, Rachel. Always will." Rachel's thoughts turned forward, a spark of hope igniting. Jessica tore open my scars, but maybe that's what I needed, to face it all and keep going. Rachel Bennett stood by her mother's hospital bed, the soft beep of monitors filling the quiet room. Linda Bennett's eyes fluttered open, her face pale but alive with a faint smile. Rachel squeezed her hand, tears brimming. The ordeal at the abandoned clinic on Pine Road felt like a lifetime ago, though only days had passed. Jessica Reynolds was gone, arrested for orchestrating the fake medical transfer that endangered Linda's life. Rachel's heart still raced when she thought of it, but relief anchored her now. She brushed a strand of hair from Linda's forehead, her thoughts steady. "We made it, Mom. You're safe, and I'm still standing." Linda's voice was weak but warm. "You've always been strong, Rachel, stronger than I ever was." Rachel shook her head, her voice soft. "I learned it from you. Everything I am, it's because of you." The hospital room's window framed Seattle's skyline, the Space Needle, a distant glow against the evening sky. Rachel's mind drifted to Daniel Lawson, whose unwavering support had carried her through the storm. His face appeared in the doorway, his tall frame filling the space. He smiled, stepping inside, and Linda's eyes lit up. "Daniel," Linda said, her voice gaining strength. "Come here. Let me see the man who's been so good to my girl." Daniel approached, taking Linda's other hand. "Just doing what's right, Linda. Rachel makes it easy." Linda chuckled, glancing between them. "You two. You're something special. Don't let anyone tell you different." Rachel's cheeks warmed, but her thoughts were heavy. Special or not, the world knows my past now. Jessica made sure of that. The next day, Rachel returned to Tech Trend Innovations, her scarf tucked around her neck as always. The office buzzed with a new energy, the data breach a fading crisis thanks to her work with the IT team. Coworkers nodded respectfully, some offering shy smiles. A far cry from the whispers that once trailed her. Kelly Morgan greeted her with a hug, her grin wide. "You're a legend, Rachel," Kelly said. "Saving the company and taking down Jessica. They're talking about you all over Seattle." Rachel laughed, shaking her head. "I just wanted to keep my job, Kelly. That's all." Kelly raised an eyebrow. "Sure, and I'm just here for the free coffee." "Own it, girl. You earned it." Rachel settled at her desk, opening her laptop. An email from Daniel popped up. Simple but urgent. "Meet me tonight at the Fairmont Olympic. Big announcement. Wear something nice." Her stomach fluttered, a mix of excitement and nerves. She typed back, "I'll be there," and tried to focus on work, but her thoughts raced. What's he planning? After everything, I'm not sure I'm ready for more surprises. That evening, Rachel arrived at the Fairmont Olympic Hotel, a grand landmark in downtown Seattle. She wore a deep blue dress, simple but elegant, her scarf left at home for the first time in years. The scar on her neck was faint but visible, a mark she no longer hid. The hotel's ballroom was filled with Seattle's elite, tech leaders and charity organizers mingling under chandeliers. Rachel spotted Daniel at the front, his tailored suit accentuating his commanding presence. He saw her, his eyes softening, and waved her over. "You look beautiful," he whispered, taking her hand. "Ready to change the world?" Rachel's brow furrowed. "Daniel, what's this about?" He smiled, guiding her to the stage. "You'll see." The room quieted as Daniel stepped to the podium, Rachel at his side. He tapped the microphone, his voice clear and confident. "Thank you all for coming. Tonight, I'm proud to announce the Rachel Bennett Foundation, a charity to support survivors of domestic abuse. And I'm even prouder to introduce the woman who inspired it, my wife, Rachel Bennett." Gasps and murmurs filled the room, followed by applause. Rachel's heart pounded, her eyes wide. Daniel squeezed her hand, urging her forward. She took a deep breath, stepping to the microphone, her voice trembling at first, but growing stronger. "I never thought I'd stand here," Rachel said. "Most of you know my story by now, thanks to some unkind headlines. I spent 4 years in prison, not because I wanted to hurt anyone, but because I wanted to save my mom. My stepfather was a monster, and when he turned on her, I did what I had to. I took the blame for a fire that wasn't my fault, to protect her." The room was silent, every face turned to her. Rachel's gaze found Daniel, his nod giving her courage. "I used to be ashamed," she continued. "I hid my scars, my past, thinking they defined me. But Daniel saw something else. He fought for me, hired lawyers to clear my name. I'm proud to say my record's been expunged, a fresh start I never dreamed possible." Applause broke out, warm and genuine. Rachel's eyes glistened, but she pressed on. "This foundation isn't just my story. It's for every survivor who feels trapped, every person told they're not enough. We're here to help you rebuild, to remind you that your past doesn't own you. Together, we can make a difference." The crowd rose, clapping fiercely. Rachel stepped back, overwhelmed, as Daniel took her hand. "I told you," he whispered. "You're unstoppable." Among the guests, George Lawson, Daniel's grandfather, stood near the back, his stern face softened by a faint smile. He approached as the applause faded, his voice gruff but sincere. "Rachel, I owe you an apology. I judged you harshly, saw only your past. I was wrong. You're good for Daniel, for this family." Rachel's throat tightened. "Thank you, Mr. Lawson. That means more than you know." George nodded, glancing at Daniel. "You picked a fighter, son. Don't let her go." Daniel grinned, pulling Rachel close. "Never will, Grandpa." Rachel's thoughts swelled with hope. They see me now, not the girl who cleaned Jessica's mess, not the prisoner, me. Weeks later, Linda left the hospital, her steps slow but steady. Rachel brought her to a cozy apartment near Lake Washington, a new home Daniel had secured. Linda marveled at the view, her eyes bright. "You've done so much, Rachel," she said, pulling her into a hug. "I'm so proud." Rachel smiled, her voice soft. "I had help, Mom. Daniel, Kelly, even Dr. Hayes. They kept me going." Linda tilted her head, curious. "Daniel? He's the one, isn't he? When do I meet him properly?" Rachel laughed. "Soon, Mom. I promise." That afternoon, Daniel arrived carrying a bouquet of lilies. Linda greeted him warmly, her hands clasping his. "You've been a blessing, Daniel," she said. "Thank you for loving my girl." Daniel's eyes met Rachel's, full of promise. "She's the blessing, Linda. Always will be." They sat together, planning a future that felt within reach. Linda flipped through a calendar, her voice teasing. "You two need a wedding date, something grand, to celebrate everything you've overcome." Rachel blushed, glancing at Daniel. "What do you think?" He took her hand, his voice firm. "Soon as you're ready. I want the world to see us." Rachel's thoughts warmed. No more hiding, no more shame, just us, together. Months later, on a crisp Seattle evening, Rachel stood on the banks of Puget Sound, her white dress flowing in the breeze. The Space Needle loomed in the distance, its lights a beacon against the twilight. Guests filled the outdoor venue, their faces glowing with joy. Kelly Morgan adjusted Rachel's veil, her eyes misty. "You're stunning," Kelly said, ready to make it official. Rachel nodded, her heart full, more than ever. Dr. Benjamin Hayes sat among the guests, his smile bittersweet but genuine. He'd accepted Rachel's choice, his care for her unchanged. George Lawson stood proudly, clapping as the music began. Linda, radiant in a soft blue dress, took Rachel's arm, walking her down the aisle. "You're my miracle," Linda whispered. "Go be happy." Rachel reached Daniel, his eyes locked on hers, filled with love. They exchanged vows, their voices steady despite the emotion. "I promise to stand by you," Daniel said, "always, no matter what comes." "And I promise to trust you," Rachel replied, "to build our future together." The officiant pronounced them husband and wife, and the crowd cheered as they kissed, the sound echoing over the water. Rachel's thoughts soared from a girl on her knees scrubbing shame to this. "I'm free, loved, whole." The reception buzzed with laughter, guests dancing under string lights. Rachel and Daniel swayed to a slow song, the world fading around them. Kelly toasted to their strength, Linda to their love. As the night ended, Rachel looked out at the city, Daniel's arm around her. Her final thoughts closed the story. "Jessica tried to break me, but she gave me something instead, a chance to rise, to heal, to inspire. This is my story, but it's not just mine. It's for anyone who's ever fought to start again." The stars glittered above Puget Sound, sealing their beginning with light. Rachel Bennett stood on the balcony of her new home, a modest house overlooking Lake Washington's gentle waves. The Seattle skyline shimmered in the distance, the Space Needle a quiet sentinel under the morning sky. A year had passed since her wedding to Daniel Lawson, and the world felt different now, lighter, though the scars of her past remained. She touched her neck, where the faint mark from that long-ago fire lingered, no longer hidden by a scarf. In her hand, she held a letter from the Rachel Bennett Foundation, its logo a simple outline of two clasped hands. Her thoughts were calm, grounded. "I used to think my story ended in shame, scrubbing Jessica's floor. But it was just the start. Now I'm writing a new chapter, not just for me, but for others." Inside, Daniel sat at the kitchen table, flipping through a stack of foundation reports. His suit jacket hung over a chair, his sleeves rolled up, a picture of ease. He glanced up as Rachel stepped in, his smile warm and familiar. "Morning," he said, holding out a mug of coffee. "Ready for the big day?" Rachel took the mug, her fingers brushing his. "Big day doesn't cover it." "I'm nervous, Daniel. What if I mess up?" He laughed, pulling her close. "You saved a company, faced down Jessica, and won over my stubborn grandpa. You'll handle a speech just fine." Rachel smiled, leaning into him. Her mind drifted to the past year, a whirlwind of change. The Rachel Bennett Foundation had grown faster than she'd dreamed, funding shelters and counseling for domestic abuse survivors across Washington state. She'd met women whose stories echoed her own, their eyes carrying the same weight she once knew. Each conversation felt like reclaiming a piece of herself, turning pain into purpose. Linda Bennett's laughter broke her thoughts. Rachel's mother emerged from the living room, carrying a photo album. "Look at this," Linda said, opening to a picture of Rachel and Daniel's wedding, their faces glowing under Puget Sound's twilight. "I still can't believe my girl got her fairy tale." Rachel hugged her, the album between them. "Not a fairy tale, Mom. Just us, fighting for what matters." Linda's eyes softened. "You fought for me, Rachel. All those years carrying my burdens. I'll never forget it." Rachel squeezed her hand, her voice gentle. "We carried each other. Always will." Daniel checked his watch, standing. "We should get going. Kelly's probably already at the venue, bossing everyone around." Rachel laughed, picturing Kelly Morgan's boundless energy. "You're right. Let's not keep her waiting." They drove to downtown Seattle, the city alive with morning traffic. The Fairmont Olympic Hotel loomed ahead, its elegant facade a familiar sight. Today, the Rachel Bennett Foundation was hosting its first annual gala, a celebration of survivors and supporters. Rachel adjusted her dress, a deep green that caught the light, and stepped into the ballroom. Volunteers bustled, setting up tables and banners. Kelly spotted her, waving frantically. "About time," Kelly called, jogging over. "This place is a madhouse, but it's going to be epic. You ready to inspire a few hundred people?" Rachel's stomach fluttered. I'll try, Kelly. Thanks for making this happen. Kelly grinned. Wouldn't miss it. You're changing lives, Rachel. Own it. As guests arrived, Rachel mingled, shaking hands with donors and survivors. Dr. Benjamin Hayes approached, his smile kind. He'd continued supporting the foundation, his care for Rachel now a steady friendship. You've done something incredible here, he said. I'm proud to be part of it. Rachel nodded, grateful. Couldn't have started without you, Benjamin. Thank you for everything. The gala began, the ballroom glowing under soft lights. Daniel took the stage, his voice carrying authority and warmth. He spoke of the foundation's impact, citing stories of women who'd found safety and hope. Then he turned to Rachel, his eyes bright. None of this would exist without my wife, Rachel Bennett. She's the heart of this, and I'm honored to stand beside her. The crowd applauded, urging Rachel forward. She stepped to the microphone, her hands steady despite the nerves. She looked out at the faces, some familiar, others new, and found her voice. A year ago, I was on my knees, cleaning a floor to keep my job, Rachel said. I thought that moment defined me, that my past in prison would always hold me back. I was wrong. My past taught me to fight, to love, to rebuild. I stood up because of my mom, because of Daniel, because of friends like Kelly who believed in me. This foundation is for everyone who's been knocked down. You're not your scars, you're your strength. The room erupted in applause, some guests wiping tears. Rachel's gaze found Linda, who clapped fiercely, her pride radiant. Daniel joined her, whispering, "Perfect. Told you." Later, as the gala wound down, George Lawson approached, his cane tapping softly. He'd become a quiet supporter, attending foundation events despite his gruff demeanor. "Well done, Rachel," he said. "You're making a mark. My grandson chose wisely." Rachel smiled, her heart light. "Thank you, Mr. Lawson. That means a lot." George glanced at Daniel, a rare warmth in his eyes. "Keep her close, son. She's one of a kind." Daniel nodded, his arm around Rachel. "Always will, Grandpa." The night ended with guests dancing, laughter filling the air. Rachel and Daniel slipped outside, standing on the hotel's terrace. The city sparkled below, a canvas of possibility. Rachel leaned against him, her thoughts clear. Jessica wanted to bury me, but she gave me wings instead. Every step from that floor to here was worth it. Daniel kissed her forehead, his voice soft. "We're just getting started, Rachel. Whatever comes, we'll face it together." She nodded, looking out at Seattle's lights. For the first time, she felt truly free. Her final thoughts echoed, a promise to herself and the world. This isn't the end. It's a beginning, for me, for us, for everyone who dares to rise again.